a few months ago, we talked about the beating of a homeless man by the name of Kelly Thomas. He was literally beaten to death by Fullerton police, and they had been called to the scene because someone was vandalizing vehicles, and police wanted to basically search him to see whether or not he was the person who was accused of doing this. Now, in the process of trying to pat him down, this schizophrenic homeless man, I guess, was not complying with them, and it basically led to them tasing him, beating him with their tasers, and eventually he was in a coma. He was rushed to the hospital and he died. So the two police officers that are accused of beating him to death, one is by the name of Manuel Ramos and the other one is Corporal Jay Cincinnelli, are being prosecuted, right? And since they're being prosecuted, tape of the incident has just been released. That's why the story is being talked about today. Now, you guys already know how hideous this situation was based on eyewitness testimony. However, we have the video for you guys now. We cut it down significantly. However, it is graphic. So take a look at the video and then we'll discuss it a little with Brett.
I'm going to force my hand and we won't let you please go. Go ahead. Sit down, put your foot in your bag. Okay, that's fine. Go down there. Would you just fucking put your hands? Would you just fucking? All right. Get on the ground now. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Right side. Well, stop it. Okay. Here, dude. Here, just come.
Sorry.
Please.
Stay here. Come on.
Please don't, dude. Please.
Stop it.
Roll on your stomach. Roll on your stomach. Ready for code 3 still. Help me. Help me, please, Dad. Oh, Dad. I can't breathe. Dad. Yeah. He's so kind, dude. Relax. Relax. Well, we can't take him. Can you guys gurney him? We can't take him.
Yeah, we're your guy.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought he was like, come on, we can take him.
You're your own guy.
Get ready to get to your car. We're going to call the ambulance.
Now, as I mentioned, he was rushed to the hospital. He died 5 days later after his family had to take him off life support. According to the hospital reports, he had bones broken in his face. He choked on his own blood, and the compression of the thorax made it impossible for him to breathe, depriving him or his brain of oxygen.
I don't even know how to respond to that. Hearing all that stimulus and watching the video, it definitely evinces some kind of like very visceral response, right? I will say it is almost as though those guys who are beating him and tasing him were just kind of wondering how long they could do it, and they all wanted a chance to try it. I feel also that bargaining orders, like you have to please turn on your stomach when you're being charged with like megajoules of energy, that, I mean, I've seen it in The Hangover. I hate to say that that's my other like experience with it, but I will say that that's like that's going to paralyze you, not going to give you a lot of voluntary motion where you can then, you know, voluntarily turn over on your back or your stomach.
Absolutely. I definitely got the sense that they were drunk on their own power. They were obviously getting a kick out of using excessive force in this situation. Kelly Thomas was on the ground. He was not resisting arrest at all. And by the way, we didn't show you the entire video. The entire video was like 30 minutes long. He's not doing anything. He's just laying there begging them to stop. Please stop. I can't breathe. And they continue to do it.
So what do we do now? Now that that's out there, now that we've seen the video, what is the next action? Do I stay outraged?
Yes,
what is
yes.
the reason for that?
You do stay outraged. So there are people who are questioning whether or not videos like this should be released in the first place, right? Is it because we are voyeuristic, we want to just watch what happened to him? Or is there something to be learned from this? And I think that it's really important to look at that tape and learn something from it, because if you look at the history of the Fullerton Police Department, you'll find out, and I'm quoting an article from OC Weekly, that they had every right to expect that they would get away with this, because until now, not a single cop in Orange County history has ever been prosecuted for killing someone in the line of duty. So that's a real issue here, right? These cops were using excessive force, and you can tell in that video that they did not even imagine that they would be prosecuted for using that excessive force. So that's why videos like that are important, to bring it to light, so these police departments that are basically looking the other way when excessive force is used get criticized, or have people hold them accountable. That's why it's important to talk about these stories.
I always feel terrible because I deal with a lot of, the old thing I used to do, viral video film school, we always used to look at videos where people incurred pain. And we'd have to ask ourselves before watching it, before doing anything, did someone die in this? And it just always makes you feel terrible. You just have to ask yourself as a viewer of that video, what are you gonna do with it? Because you know going in someone dies. You know it's gonna be painful to watch. You know how long it is, because as soon as you start watching it, it tells you how long it is. So the onus is really on, of course, the police department to hold someone accountable, but also for each individual, because that's just the weirdest, diciest thing about the proliferation of news. I don't understand how y'all do 2 hours a day of stuff. Just to be able to fill the giant maw of news, it takes video like this. And I'm glad that there's some kind of extra perspective to go, listen, the reason we have to put everyone through this is to realize just the implication of never having tried anyone. Now, that's not to say that you have to assume that every police department has someone who should get prosecuted.
No, and I'm not saying that in any way, shape, or form. However, when you have an entire police department that has never been, not a single police officer has ever been prosecuted for
these 5 things that you have listed in this article.
Yeah, so there are 5 different dicey situations where people were killed by police in the line of duty, right? And in every single situation, the police officials might have been questioned, but they were never prosecuted. So that's a real issue here. And I think that's why videos like this, when they surface, they should be talked about. The people who are accused of using excessive force should be held accountable. And in this case, I'm glad that there could possibly be justice for Kelly Thomas and his family. Now, Manuel Ramos was charged with 1 count of second-degree murder and 1 count of involuntary manslaughter, and Jay Cincinnelli is charged with 1 count of involuntary manslaughter and excessive force. So we'll see what happens with the outcome of that case. But that video is very important evidence in the case.
Yes,
so
it has to be. I mean, as a prosecutor, I'm sure you just look at it and go, all right, I don't really have that much to do, which then, if they do get off, you start asking yourself, how could that even be possible? You watched it, so there'll be hell to pay.
I have a hard time believing that they'll be let off. However, sometimes I'm extremely naive.